Right, but it's Manchester United. It's game day versus Arsenal. These are the 5 things to expect ahead of the game. We'll be talking about predicted team, tactics, and team news ahead of the game, and ultimately much more. So let's get straight into it. Now, number one, changes to the team. With that huge Europa League game coming up on Thursday, it's a must-win game to salvage Manchester United's season. I think Ruben Amorim has to make changes to the team. I think some of them are enforced, some of them are more obvious. Now, in terms of players returning and team news, Collier, obviously he came on in the game against Sociedad, so you expect him to be involved. Maguire and Ugarte, we're not 100% sure still if they're going to be in the squad. Anyway, if they are, I'm going to rest them. Yeah, that's really it in terms of players coming back for this game. Now let's get into my team. Onana in goal. Listen, we just don't need a mistake from him in this game. You want him to be confident on the ball. And yeah, listen, as long as, yes, you want to keep players in mind for the game against Thursday, but you still want to win the game. It's against Arsenal at the end of the day. Back five is going to be Delo, left wing back. Again, what are we going to see? Just something, please. Right wing back, Mazraoui. Back three is probably going to be Lindelof, De Ligt, and Yoro. I think Lindelof's a weak link, but again, Maguire, I'm not going to risk him. Mazraoui has to come out the back three because there's no Dorgu. And yeah, it's all about this game, just maintaining players' fitness and just keeping players ready for that game on Thursday. Amorim talked about how we have to survive this game to go and play on Thursday. In terms of midfield, Bruno's going to be in there. It'll probably be Casemiro next to him. I thought he had one of his better games against Sociedad. Again, wasn't perfect, but again, what we've seen from Casemiro, again, we just need someone to just keep the play going. And yeah, that's something that I would go with. It's going to, Xerxes, I would actually give him a rest, so I'd go Eriksen and Garnacho. I think Garnacho is a player who got a lot of stick from their performance against Sociedad. I thought he did alright. Yes, his decision making at time as well. But again, he's going to get goal scoring chances, and expect him to put one away today. And through the middle, I'll start CHIDO now. Whether Amorim doesn't start him due to fear of what it could be like if he has a poor performance, but he played 60 minutes against Fulham, and he had a decent game. Obviously, he was left out of the Europa League game. You want to give Hoyland a rest because he's going to start the next game, and ultimately on performance, CHIDO deserves to start in a game which he can play, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. But that would be my team. Now the second thing, United's threat, I think it is Garnacho. As I said, in the games that we do play, he's getting 2-3 chances. I remember a couple of weeks ago, he had a few against Leicester in that FA Cup game. He had some against Sociedad. Like, he is a player who does get numerous chances for us. It's just his clinical edge isn't great. I mean, that 1v1 he had against Tottenham, he had a few of them. So we just need him to be a bit more clinical when it comes to him in the final third. Now, there's a quality player there. Arsenal, we know they're very good defensively. But yeah, let's see what happens. But I think our strength is definitely with Garnacho. I think he has some very good quality. Now the third thing, Arsenal's threat. Listen, Arsenal are a very good team. To beat PSV 7-1 in Eindhoven, the second leg, they should go through, so they probably can put all of their eggs for this game. Odegaard, Wanyeri, like, I do worry for Wanyeri against Delo. It is going to be a tough test for Delo, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. I think they've got players returning like Ben White. We know the threat from them of set pieces. We know how good they are on the ball, the press, the energy that they provide. As I said, they do have threats. Yes, they may not win anything this season, but they are a decent side. And yeah, it's always going to be a tricky game against Arsenal. I think when we did play them this season in the league, we lost 2-0 due to 2 corners. In the FA Cup, it was much more of a closer game, but again, we were down to 10 men for large parts. So we've shown we can go toe-to-toe with the Arsenal side. But again, my main focus is getting to that Europa League game on Thursday with all the players ready to go. Now, the fourth thing, I want to talk about the protest, because obviously there's protests going on at Old Trafford, 3 PM tollgate. It's important because the Glazers have ultimately ruined this football club, and they're the people that have to leave, and the fans are ultimately suffering the ticket prices, the wages, what they're doing in Ineos as well, and you're going to see mass protests. And listen, ultimately it's all about getting the Glazers out, and I think the protests are a very, very good point. I mean, reports about a potential leaving the stadium empty. Let's see what happens with that. But yeah, the protest. Now the fifth and final thing, listen, I'm not too really bothered about the result. The Premier League's done for Manchester United. I don't know where we are. Was it 14th, 15th? I'm not really bothered whether we win or lose the game, to be honest with you. I know that's probably the first time I've said it. I mean, it would be typical for Manchester United to win this sort of game, but I think it will probably end up being a draw. Arsenal, I mean, they're really only fighting for the Champions League. It's going to take a miracle for them to win the Premier League. With Liverpool doing so well. United, as I said, our main focus is on winning the Europa League. We've got a very, very close game against Sociedad, and all the players that we have out injured. We have Ugarte out, we don't know if he is going to be ready. Maguire, Collier is returning, which is good. We have Manu out, Ahmad out, Martinez out, Dorgu suspended for this game. So listen, we need all the players we can get, but ultimately I think it's going to be a very, very difficult game. High intensity. Arsenal, listen, they are a very, very decent side. We might banter them, but they are a very, very good side. They do play some good football. But as I said, the main priority is just make it to the next game in 4 days. We play Sociedad at home, or 5 days, however many days it is. It is going to be very, very difficult for Manchester United, but I think the team that we go with, we can get something out of this. But yeah, let's see what happens. I think the most important thing, I want to see Zirkzee be given a rest. He looked exhausted. So I put Eriksen in there. Garnacho, you keep him going. He's still a young player. Bruno can play. Casemiro can play. And it's all about in the next game. Hopefully you have Ugarte back. You have Maguire back. Dorgu's going to come back into that team. You do miss out CHIDO, but again, you do bring players back. Let's see what happens. My prediction, I think United are going to win. Peace.